Hey everybody, Sean Flanagan here from IMET Seminars, and I'm really excited about today. I got John. John's on a Zoom call today, and we're going to be talking a little about his specialty courses that are going to be coming up here in November, and then we have them coming in next year too. So definitely get online and check those out. We're going to talk about the sports course today, as well as the pelvic health course, so that you guys have a good idea of what we have coming on and what John brings to the table. So, John, how you doing today? Looking forward to seeing you over here next month.
Sean, yeah, I'm good. Thanks. Looking forward to it. It's been a long time. It's been nearly 2 years since I've been to the US. Um,
Yeah.
just come back from the Middle East. Been over in Dubai teaching there. Been teaching some of the courses that we're going to be talking about. I've been teaching the sports course and the women's and pelvic health.
Okay.
Went down really well. They invited me back to do some more, so it's always a good sign.
Dubai's on my
Um,
bucket list. I'll get it over there sometime. We'll see.
yeah,
I guess it's a lot
yeah.
like the desert, though. You come over here and say, "This is just like Dubai."
Do you know what? It's two places that I find are very similar. Is Dubai and Arizona, and people are probably going to roll their eyes at that. But a lot of sand, a lot of heat, a lot of big shiny buildings, and a lot of American cars, a lot of trucks, a lot of Raptors, a lot of F-150s, a lot of
Oh,
Mustangs,
okay. Maybe we can
a
ship
lot of
some over.
Camaros.
They pay well for it too over there.
Well, oil's cheap there, so you can drive a big 7 liter V8.
Huh.
Um, So yeah, they love a big Raptor out there. So great.
We won't talk about our prices here, or our oil prices here in the states. It's not a healthy topic. Let's
No,
we'll stay on target.
we'll talk about healthy topics. We'll talk about some health topics.
Yeah, right. John, I'm really excited because we have both the sports course coming up next month as well as the pelvic health course that's geared
Yeah,
both towards men and women. Let's jump into the sports course.
yeah,
Kind of give me a summary of really your objectives of that and what people should expect as they come into it.
yeah. I suppose what I found over the years is my sports course is a little bit different from other people's, and I found that first in the UK a few years ago. What I often find is generally a sports course tends to be just what I would refer to as sort of straight up MSK. So looking at very localized, very muscular type problems. It's a lot of trigger point style needling. It's a lot of muscular needling and so on. And it's very tends to be very firm. The needling tends to be in a certain type. And what I find is when I work with sporting organisations, so I teach for the Premiership in the UK, which is the elite level of soccer in the UK. So the Man Cities, Leicester City, the big clubs that you might have heard about. And I teach for Institute of Sport, the English Institute of Sport, which is Team GB. I teach for Sport Wales as well, which is their head organisation. And when I go into those organisations and I talk to the guys about needling, those who already needle have got a preset idea about how they needle. And they sort of take the attitude that they're not going to needle just before competition, or they're not going to needle the day before because athletes get very sore and so on. And what I try to explain to them is the problem with that mindset is they've only got one style of needling because they're only thinking about one approach, one mechanism. So the problem then is you've got a modality in search of a pathology. So you've got a set time you can use that. And one of the things I'll be talking about on the sports course is a number of different reasons why you can needle. This is something that falls into the dynamic integrated needling system all the time. The Hobbs Masters series. It falls into that all the time, like 5 reasons why you want to needle, which I'll expand on another time. But I think we talked about it before in the past. But when you've got these 5 reasons, you're looking at how that fits in with the pathophysiology, how the pathophysiology meets with the mechanisms and how they compare. And what I find in most sports courses, they're focused on very limited impact or limited goals with needling. So I suppose the big difference, and one of the things that I want to get over to the guys over there, which I have done with some sporting institutions in the US. I was lucky enough to be invited in a roundabout way to speak with the New Orleans Saints last year about some recovery type needling. advising on behalf of somebody else who brought me over there to sort of assist with some things there and talk to those guys about different ideas. And I suppose what I talk about mainly in sport, more than just the MSK ideas, is how do we use this for healing? How do we use it for recovery? How do we use it for influencing the sympathetic, parasympathetic response? And how some of the needling that you might be using may be too sympathetic for some individuals. And we talk about notions such as finite capacity to recover. So physiologically, you have a finite capacity to recover. So if you increase the load, you have to increase the recovery. You can't keep going to the well and drawing from it. It runs dry after a while. So how can we use needling strategies to support those ideas? So I suppose the course, in a way, covers a whole range of things. It covers localized needling for healing, for recovery. It covers needling for mechanical dysfunctions, so muscular, myofascial type needling. It covers segmental effects, whether they be analgesic or sympathetic and parasympathetic. It covers central effects. So we're really working through the central nervous system and its peripheral sort of impacts as well, to make sure that we can stack all the cards in our favor whenever we're using needling for the benefit of the athlete to get our outcomes. So I suppose that sounds very grand. I could have just told you in a sentence, couldn't I? And that sounds like a long way around, but that's me. I just think it's useful for people to try and start entertaining bigger ideas when it comes to needling. We've all done the muscular stuff where we're needling a trigger point, and we're all done with that, and we're all okay with that idea. But what's the next level? And so when I look at the courses that I deliver, and I've been lucky enough for you guys to host me there a few times, and when we talk about some of the other things, I want guys to understand there's a bigger scope out there that they can start to access. And once you start to entertain that idea, and I'll always quote this, a quote by Aristotle: sign of intelligence is the ability to entertain an idea without accepting it. So I want guys to entertain the idea they can use needling to do other things. And once you start to do that and you start to try it out, you'll see how it will benefit your athletes beyond just those muscular aches and pains and those myofascial dysfunctions. We'll do those as well. We'll also do those hopefully a lot gentler than you used to. And what that means as well is your athlete is functional sooner. I find that quite often we're overcooking people.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
I actually find it in a lot of places. I find it in the UK, I find it in the Middle East. Everyone's got this idea of dry needling, that it has to for some reason be very, very heavy. And you have to be almost aggressive, almost like you've got to create as much pain with the approach as the person's in. And this actually comes from some quite old research, but we've moved on since then. And I'm bringing sort of 20 plus clinical years to bear on these comments as well. My background as a PT goes back 25 years. I've got a 30-year history in prescribing exercise. Got over a 20-year history in needling clinically, and I'm still doing it. So the things that I talk about, obviously they've got a physiological base, they've got an evidence base, but they're clinically tried and tested. Because if they didn't work, I wouldn't use them. I'm not going to make myself look stupid, and I've got to treat patients and get them better. So those are some of the things we'll be talking about on the sports. It's a little bit different, but I think different's a good thing. And one of the things I say as well is, it'll challenge your ideas a little bit, but not in a bad way. It's not going to be so left field that you're going to think, what the hell's this? All it's going to be is taking what you've got, and it's almost like I explain this idea sometimes. There's this it's kind of like fable about a frog in a well, and he sits at the bottom of the well and he looks up at the night sky every night, and he can see this like circle of the night sky with the stars, and he thinks how wonderful it is. And over time, what happens is the well fills up, and he's able to climb out of the well, and he's able to sit on the wall outside the well. And what he sees now is the entire expanse of the night sky. And that's what I'm going to try and show you. I'm going to try and show you that you might have been down a well for some time, looking at the sky, and there's a bigger sky out there, and we can all appreciate it.
Yeah, that's the truth. I think I think the beauty and the genius of what you bring to the table is just this layering effect of needling, and it allows us to actually clinically reason through the N of 1 in front of us in such a way that you can take the same target, MSK target, but do something different than needle and manipulate it differently, and you get a completely
Yeah.
different sympathetic parasympathetic response. And I think with the needling course or with the sports course, the recovery aspect of it, and then the pre-performance and is just such a big thing. And even being able to talk about sleep habits and digestion in the sports course, and dealing with jet lag and those things and circadian rhythms, being able to influence those things is so huge for our clients, but it just empowers you as a therapist to kind of go forward, which is cool too, because we just got BOC athletic training certified out here. So we're actually going to start rolling these courses out to our athletic trainers out here in the States. So you'll be teaching a lot of athletic trainers, and this will just be great when you're changing time zones and everything. The other thing I love is even from an MSK, where you get a lot of patient buy-in when you go and you needle the ankle, and all of a sudden their proprioception and balance completely
Oh yeah.
changes, or you increase strength. There's just so much that goes into it, and the breadth of it is just exciting from a treatment standpoint. It just takes the blinders off of what you can do.
Yeah, I mean, one of the courses that I teach in the UK that it's never advertised because it's entirely in-house. And what happens is some of the elite football clubs reach out to me, and I go in-house with those guys. And what I do is the typical training routine in soccer in the UK. Obviously, they're playing on a Saturday. They're playing evening, midweek. So Thursday afternoon, players go home early. So the training and the PT staff are free like on a Thursday afternoon. So I go in on a Thursday afternoon and I do 6 sort of mini courses for them. So each one's 4 hours, front loaded with a little bit of theory, and then we get straight into 2-3 hours practical. And what I do is I take sort of 20 plus years of needling, and I look at those guys and I think, right, if I could take from all that time, what do I need beginning, intermediate, advanced for you guys, that with that population group that you're working with, what do you need? If I was going to cherry pick from 20 plus years, what would I take from that? And so each module we do something a little bit different. So we might do systemic needling, we might do break down the lumbar pelvic, then we break down sort of lower limb, and then we'll do deep spinal needling for radiculopathic and chronic presentations. And when I say chronic, I mean reoccurring. When you've got those reoccurring hamstrings, there's some other tips and tricks you can use with those. Then we'll do things like advanced needling for localized structures. So we've got an MCL. What do we do with ACL scarring? What do we do with proprioception of the ankle? How do we deal with instability or healing around the MCL? As I said, what do we do with tendinopathies? So those sorts of things. And then we also look at electrostim, and we also look at vagus nerve stimulation for recovery. So each session they get a different thing. So what I've tried to do with this course is to take the greatest hits basically from that and bring it down. What I'd love to do is come to the States and do lots more, because there's actually, if I sat down, I could have like weeks and weeks with you guys there and really take them on a journey where we can learn so much. But what I've done is I've brought it down to modules, because I realize people haven't got that much time. And I'm going to try and give you, okay, well, what do you really need to know? What's the greatest hits? What do you need to know? What are your Monday morning techniques? So we talk about N equals 1 all the time. How do you solve the problem in front of you? It's okay sitting there and reading a study that says, 8 out of 10 people improved with this. That's brilliant. Do that for 8 out of 10 of them. Now, when you've dealt with those 8, come back and see me and we'll deal with the other 2.
Yeah.
Because what we're going to do with those now, because that's the bit that separates you from everybody else, because everybody can treat the 8. What's the other 20%? How are we going to get to those? What are our other strategies? How do we think about this? How do we clinically reason? How do we rationalize? And out of that, what I always talk about on a course is, what are the Monday morning techniques? What are you going to do on Monday morning? And what can I teach you over that weekend that when you get into clinic Monday morning is going to be different from what you did last Monday, that is going to put you further forward, hopefully with your game. So That sounds like a big, big build-up, but I'm just excited because what happens is I always find that when I come to the US, everyone is really open to ideas, which is fantastic. It's just I don't know whether it's the culture of PT there, but I find a lot of people are really open to ideas and get a buzz out of sharing those with guys. The other thing I would say about athletic trainers now, technically we don't have athletic trainers in the UK, but what happens is all clinicians who work in sport have to be a PT. So it's kind of odd. So you can't work in elite sport. You know, you can't be head of department for a soccer team, or you can't be like, you know, head of rehabilitation for Team GB or whatever, unless you're a PT. So those are the guys that I teach. So transferring that to athletic trainers, it's just a name change. It's just a question of semantics. There's no difference in the language we speak.
Sciences, they have
There's no
everything they
difference.
need to
Yeah.
be safe and to be effective, and they that's their genius, and that's what they specialize in. So it's so easy to translate over to that. So yeah,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
really excited
yeah.
about it. I'm really excited about it.
I mean, in the UK,
Let's
I teach PTs, I teach sports rehabilitators, which technically would be the same as athletic trainers. I teach osteopaths, chiropractors, doctors, nurses. I teach anybody who is postgraduate
yeah.
medically. And we share ideas. Anatomy is anatomy, physiology is physiology. You know, and once we start to get into the pathophysiology versus the mechanisms, and I always front load things with the mechanisms, so we all know what page we're on when I'm talking, because I know people have, with the courses that I'm teaching there, obviously, because they're like a level 3 course, I know guys will have done needling before, but they will have whatever route they've taken to needling, they'll have that knowledge, and that's brilliant because we can always build on that. And the things I say, although it'll challenge people, there's no right and wrong here. Stuff that they've done before, if I do something different, doesn't make that stuff wrong. It just means there's different techniques, there's different approaches. It's like exercise, and this is the way I say it. You know, the way you prescribe exercise, you know, there's no right and wrong exercise. You know, we just think about how appropriate it is at a certain time, and can we fine tune it to get the best outcome out of that individual. And that's probably the underpinning thing we're going to be talking about, is how do we prescribe that? How do we think of it like exercise? You know, so, you know, if you only have one type of exercise, if all you ever prescribe is flipping tractor tires in the car park, you know, then when you're rehabilitating, you know, ACL reconstruction or coronary artery bypass, you're going to struggle. So of course you would never do that. You would prescribe your exercise appropriate for the individual. That's the challenge I'm putting out there for needling. You know, think of it that way, and we'll get into that with the physiology. You know.
Brilliant. I like how you talk about what muscles you needle when you're loading into that segment, and offloading that segment, and which muscle groups to hit.
Oh yeah.
So there's just so much that goes into your sports course that it's really exciting. Along those lines, if you're listening in and you own a clinic, or you have a group of people that want to be trained by Jon when he's over, if you start looking at those dates, we do some evening specialized courses for those people that really want to get into that. So reach out, direct message me, do whatever you need to do to get Jon in clinic and getting him with your guys. He loves to be side by side with people. So
I love to get amongst it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm terrible. I was teaching a course last week, and somebody was telling me they've got a problem, like when they're on the course. I'm like, move over, get them on the bed. Let's have a look at them now. And we just get them on the bed and start. Hey, what about this? And they got up afterwards, and they're like, I can't believe my range of movement. I said, look, this is it. You know, you've got to get in there. You've got to start having a look at things. You know. Yeah. So we talk a lot about anatomy. Break that down. Another job that I have in the UK is I lecture in cadaveric anatomy. So I try to make that as real as possible and functional as possible. I also do MSK sonography. So we talk about the layers as well. So try and keep it as live and as interesting as possible, and touch on every level we can. Hopefully there's something there for everyone. But what I want to say is I'm talking a big game here, I know. But one of the things I say is when we get in a room together, my teaching sort of ethos is we're all friends together. I'm not looking to call anybody out. I'm not looking to challenge anyone in that way. I'm looking that we can have a trusting environment where we can grow together and just share some ideas. And if you come away from it and you've had some fun and you've learned some things, then that's my goal completed, really. So I want you to enjoy it. I don't want you to turn up going, oh, I'm going to have to listen to the Brit talking about this. And, we're going to have some fun. Listen to the Brit talk.
You can lie to us the whole time. It's the accent that helps us get through it. But
we'll be having some fun as well.
Your teaching style is professional. It gives courtesy to past learning and just really encourages people to explore possibilities. So that's pretty exciting. Jon, thanks for sharing that. I think it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. 2022 will be a great time here in the U.S., but meet with us next month and kind of get your feet wet and see what we're all about here. I have a couple of announcements as we're kind of getting into this here. We do have some courses coming up. So his sports course is going to be here in Phoenix, November 13th and 14th. That's going to be the only offering this year. We'll also have one next year with that. And then we also have coming up is the pelvic health course will be in Atlanta, Georgia, November 6th and 7th. And then it'll be here in Phoenix, November 20th and 21st. So Jon will be here with us those first three weeks of November. We also have some of our foundational courses coming up. So DIN-2 will be coming up here in Atlanta next weekend, October 22nd and 24th. And then we'll jump into DIN-3 here. Let's see, there's DIN-2 in Phoenix, November 5th and 6th, 6th, 7th. So those are your two opportunities for DIN-2. But we'll also have DIN-1 is going to be in Atlanta, November 19th, 20th, and 21st. And then again in Phoenix, December 17th, 18th, and 19th. So those are just great opportunities for you to kind of come in and really see what we're all about. If you've taken any type of needling before, you can attend one of our advanced courses. We'll respect your prior learning. If you want to learn the Hobbs Master Needling System, the dynamic integrative needling system, which really comes from a segmental approach that looks at dermatomes, myotomes, bristlectomes, sclerotomes even. If you want to learn that and you've had previous needling, we give a significant discount to honor your prior learning. So check us out online. Look forward to seeing you in a class. And Jon, I'm really, really looking forward to seeing you here in a few weeks so we can get together, have some laughs, and just really just get to learn. It's just always a learning opportunity. And you're just a humble teacher and run a classroom that's respectful. So it's also fun. I'm looking forward to it.
That's great. And if guys want to check me out on LinkedIn, Jonathan Hobbs, check me out on there, and Instagram, Hobbs Acupuncture, because that's what I'm known for in the UK. I'm the head of the Acupuncture Association of Chartered Physios, which is the biggest needling organisation in the UK. So you can check me out there as well. But yeah, looking forward to getting over there and making some new friends, having some fun, sharing some ideas, and see what we get.
Yeah, right. Looking forward to it. All right, Jon, we'll
Okay.
talk to you soon.
Thanks a lot. Bye.